that will be a very, very poor mismanagement. I think he should
No, that's
stick.
a, no, no, that's
Yeah,
no. That's a
yeah.
fireable offense.
Yes, yes. Fireable.
Seriously.
You cannot let an asset walk like Cam Thomas for free.
Gets it off in time. And he's going, baby! Big time Nets win.
The only Net fans you know? The only Nets fans you know? Man. I mean, come on, man. Or are these guys?
Welcome back to the Only Net Fans You Know podcast. I'm Peter. Welcome to episode number 90. I'm super excited. This is a very, very special episode. Of course, I'm joined by a very special guest. He's been on the show before. You guys know him. Welcome back to the show, AJ, Mr. Nets Kingdom himself. I think we made a big announcement yesterday.
Yeah, bro. We finally welcomed you to the squad. We had a great live stream. Shout out to all the people that pulled up and talked about, Nets versus Hawks. It was fun. It was live. It was great. And it was great to have you hear your thoughts on the game.
I'm going to wind up writing for Nets Kingdom so you can see my articles there going forward. I'm going to help with the graphics. You might see me on their channel a little bit more here and there. But man, I'm just so excited.
Yeah, man. And like I said, Nets Kingdom is bigger than me now. It's a community. It's a Nets world now. So you're just part of it. And, so stay tuned for more content. We're going to be dropping so much content. We're going to try to hit it every day. And Pete's going to be on there. Everybody's going to be on there. So it's going to be fire.
All right, let's just jump straight into it. Game one, we're going to talk about everything in this episode. Nets lost 116-120 at Atlanta. A slow start, 17 turnovers, fights. The three vets in the starting lineup went 12 for 46, 5 of 16 from three. The Hawks got to the line 46 times. And really the only reason why this game was close, Cam Thomas put up 20 points in the fourth quarter. I think he went 8 of 10 in the fourth. He wound up putting up 36 points. Jalen Wilson had 16. CJ had 14, shooting 1 of 6 from 3. Trae Young had a 30-point, 12-assist double-double. Kongu had 28 points and just bodied us, shooting 11 of 12 from the field.
It was a crazy game. Like, I loved how it was a competitive game. Everybody knows the goal is to lose, but it's good to see us play hard. And I mentioned this on our last live stream, like about the toughness. It was a tough game. The hard fouls, we're not letting no free layups. The defense was great early on Trae Young. We limited Trae Young early on. I know his stats look crazy, but I think Saif put out a stat that I think 15 of his points were from the foul line late in the game. Coach Jordi's defensive scheme on Trae was just limit him, make him a passer, let these other guys kill us. And it was working. It was working. Ben Simmons was pushing the pace in the first half. He looked good, but in the second half, he just fell off. Cam Thomas in the fourth was just incredible. Overall, I just think that the things that we could get better at is, first of all, the turnovers we got to work on the turnovers. I think Dennis Schroeder and Ben Simmons combined for like 11. And these are our primary ball handlers. They got to be way better than that with keeping the ball safe on possessions. The offense sometimes looks stagnant. We have to do better running plays better for Cam and CJ, getting them open looks. I feel like the offense could be a lot better. The defense, I wasn't so mad about. I was very, very content with the defense in this game. I don't know how you felt about it.
I think we both can agree we like the defense. What did you think about the whole offense? A lot of people are very, very upset. They don't. I think Net fans don't understand that the offense is running through Ben because of the offense that they're running. They're running a instant offense point series in which you have your point forward at the elbow, and he's sort of the hub of the offense.
This is where it gets complicated because obviously Nick is coming back from his hamstring. So Nick is our starting center. So I'm interested to see what Jordi does. Now, there was limited times when Ben Simmons and Nick were on the floor together. And this is the conundrum we're in because, like I said, there's usually one hub, a DHO guy, so Ben Simmons and Nick are both DHO guys. They're both kind of, so it's like they are going to, Ben's usually at the top of the, whoever's at the top of the dotted circle, it usually is a DHO, like a dribble handoff. So our whole offense is a dribble handoff, coming off those dribble handoffs, screen. You'll see it, like Cam brings up the ball, he'll call for Clax. Usually it's Ben, the one center who's on the court. It's either him doing all the screening or coming off the dribble handoff. So Ben and Clax can't be two guys doing the dribble handoff. One has to be in the corner. Usually you're going to have a four who spaces the floor, and then the 1-5 is going to be the dribble handoff guy where all our movement is coming off of. So it's going to be interesting to see how he incorporates Ben. If he keeps Ben and Clax in the same lineup, or he's going to just start Clax and bring Ben off the bench, I think it'll be more cleaner. You put another shooter in there with Clax, so it's more spaced. I think that will be a little bit better instead of just kind of colliding both of the two, because Ben and Clax are just going to be both in a dunker spot waiting, or both kind of don't know what to do in terms of screening. That's where it's going to, I feel like, mess up our offense. So when Clax is 100% ready to go and he's starting, I think Ben should probably come off the bench, let Dennis run the point guard and be the primary ball handler for that starting unit, then bring Ben, and then he'll play that second point guard with other shooters. And that way you can go small. You can put Clowney at the 5 and put all shooters in with Ben Simmons. This way he can do his play style. His play style is transition buckets and playing fast, because he loves to play fast. So I think Jordi has I'm interested to see what Jordi's plan is. So he's going to have a lot to do once Nick is fully go.
A lot of Nets fans are confused by some of these lineup combinations. I know we talked about it over text. I call this the ultimate floor spacing lineup of Zaire Williams, Nick Claxton, and Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
What do you think about the lineup combinations, especially the 3 floor spacers I just mentioned?
There were some lineups because I saw Ben, Clax, Clowney, big lineups. I'm like, whoa, this is different. Clowney at the 3, and then, like I said, the Zaire. We know Zaire's not the best shooter in the world. I think he's like a low percentage 3-point shooter. Like I said, we're in a rebuilding year, so he's gonna have some experimentation loose lease on him, because it's like he can experiment with this team, because there's no expectations with the Nets right now.
A lot of people have to remember that this is also a new team, learning a new scheme with a rookie head coach. So it's going to take time for this stuff to kind of get together. And honestly, I think they're probably ahead of schedule. If you think about it, we saw a lot of the KD's Nets, right? When they were learning a new system, they didn't look too great either. Considering the talent does not mix with the scheme. What do you think about as far as timing wise and how far they're along in learning a new system?
Yeah, I think it's going to take probably a few months to really get everybody on full cylinder. I think I love Jordi Fernandez's resume. I think about all the coaches we've had. Jordi might have the best resume. I mean, he's coached Canada basketball. He's coached internationally. He's been coaching since he was 13, 14 years old, all over the world coaching, and it's his resume is beautiful. So I think that he knows the X's and O's, and he knows to get the most out of our guys. How many times have we seen the Nets usually fold in the second half? And second half, it was, and we usually just see them fold in the second half. And he kept this energy, this toughness that we saw the whole game. I know it was a 1-game sample, but it looked really good starting out. So I'm really interested to see what Jordi does. Now, the criticisms I have, I don't know if you want to get into that now about Jordi, but
let's go.
Yeah, the criticisms I have about Jordi is just the pulling the guys. A little bit of the rotations were a little iffy. I feel like Shake could have played a lot more. Shake, we needed a creator. Clowney played a lot less minutes than I would like him to. I would like to see Clowney a little bit more. I feel like he kind of forced the Ben Simmons issue on us a little too much. Once he saw Ben got 4 fouls in a quarter, and then I saw him back in the game, and I'm like, why are you forcing it on this? Try to do something else. So those are just the little things. And then everything else, though, as far as timeouts and keeping the game and the energy, I feel like Jordi handled it correctly.
I think the whole Ben Simmons push is because of the offensive scheme. Ben is the best player to run the offense, if we're being honest, as far as being that hub in the point series.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what it is? It's because he feels like a reliance on the scheme?
Yeah, and I think I noticed in the first half, Ben was a plus. Every time he was on the court, the offense was just booming. It was great. He was pushed because Ben just creates offense with his downhill, getting to the rim, and he's a gifted passer. I'll give that about Ben. He has one of those God-given abilities. He just knows where players are. He has that little nuance where he just has eyes in the back of his head. He can get guys going. When guys are cutting, he'll hit guys right on the dime. So when Ben's playmaking is so good, I think Jordi was probably like, I need this offense because when Ben is off the court, it's very clunky. We're relying on Dennis Schroeder to like drive and kick, and it wasn't working. And then you got to give it to Cam. You got to give a grenade to Cam, and he's just doing ISO moves and trying to score. So it's like, I think that's probably why he was kind of trying to force the Ben Simmons minutes. But at the same time, Ben wasn't making in the second half. He wasn't making good playmaking. He wasn't doing playmaking. He was fouling too much. It was bad basketball IQ. It just didn't look great. So I understand why. I guess he was trying to force it. He's a first-year coach, so I don't know. It's something we have to figure out.
Now, what I want to talk about, my dark horse candidate, Jalen Wilson. He is a Jordi Fernandez favorite, and I think we're going to see a lot more good basketball from him.
Yeah.
What do you think about him, and what do you think about Zaire Williams, who I think is maybe a steal, and the Nets probably should have re-signed him.
Yeah. I was very impressed about Jalen Wilson. I thought he was more of an off-ball guy, but the Nets obviously, like last night, they believed in his scoring. They're playing a lot of lineups with Wilson at the guard, operating with Wilson as like a primary scoring option, ball handler. Like you said, we saw the lineups where he was playing guard. He was creating offense off the dribble, and I was like very surprised. When we drafted him at Kansas, he would sometimes be a shot creator, but he was more of like a catch and shoot. I'll drive sometimes. That's it. That was more Jalen Wilson's game. But now I think the Nets kind of believe in him. They gave him the guaranteed last year, and now they believe in him. They're trying to develop him. I think he could turn into a creator for us, but it's going to take more time. But I was very impressed last night. I think he had like 14, 16 points off the bench. He was impressive last night, and we know he could shoot. We saw what he got. He got the Summer League MVP. He was shooting unbelievably percentage from three. It's just now to up his game, he's got to learn how to create on the ball as a primary ball handler, create with the ball. Now he's good at off the ball stuff, like coming off screens, shooting, movement, catch and shoot. He's cool at that, but now he's got to, up his game and just be ready for creating on the ball. You know what I'm saying? Calling for the pick and roll screen, making those reads at times, so that's where he's got to improve his game. And last night he was pretty good. He went to the rim a lot too. He was getting fouled a ton, and I just loved.
AJ, is he the sixth man now?
That's what I'm saying. He could be. I think he's a name we should put in the watch category now. Of sixth man, and maybe most improved in the future if he keeps going up. Most improved if he keeps going up. Yeah. As far as Zaire, I'll do Zaire real quick. Zaire, I love his hustle. He usually crashes the boards a lot. He's not the best 3-point shooter, but he's getting better. He made a three. I think I don't know how many threes, but I remember 1 3 he made in the corner in this game. But he's just got to get better at just being consistent with his 3-ball and being there off reads and rolling. I think that's with Zaire. I think he's trying to find his role with the team. So as soon as we kind of figure out what his role is that Jordi puts him at, I think it'll be more easier for us to like see what he has to be developed at. I think I'm still a little kind of figure out what Jordi wants him to do. Yeah.
Zaire was 3 of 6. 3 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3.
Yep.
He had 9 points, and I think he had 3 rebounds and 1 assist and a block. I think some stat line like that.
Yeah.
Only 15 minutes. You mentioned it before, so I'm not going to talk about it again. Young guys probably should have gotten more minutes, but let's wrap up this game. Overall, game 1 is done. What's your take? If final wrap up thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, like I said, a great competitive loss. We're Nets fans, so we love the competitive losses. It was fun. It was great. I enjoyed the game watching it. It was like outside of the constant free throws, that's what was the annoying part of the game. But it was a fun competitive loss. Next game, I think we just got to keep fighting. Like keep seeing keep throwing the lineups out there, working on the offense. I think we just got to have more cleaner offense. And yeah, that's all I got.
The Nets had until yesterday to get an extension in for Zaire Williams, CT, and Day'Ron Sharpe. Knowing Sean Marks, I think it was almost given that they were not going to get an extension. CT, I was hopeful he would get one. We saw numbers thrown out. I talked to people like Sam Quinn from CBS. He says $15 million a year, which I think is extremely low. It comes down to this. A lot of teams do not have cap going into next offseason. CT getting an offer sheet, teams would probably have to do a lot of maneuvering to just offer him something in like the 30s or high, even I'd say even the high 20s
Yeah.
a year, right? If you're Sean Marks, you want to keep Cam Thomas happy. You have a lot of cap room coming up. You know the fan base wants to probably keep CT around, but you also want to do what's best for the team long term and have that flexibility.
Yeah.
For an example, if the Nets want to sign a free agent, they could sign a superstar, and then if they have to go over the cap, they can go over the cap to extend CT. If you extend CT first, now you can't do that maneuvering later.
Yeah.
So what's your focus on this? Do you focus on locking up the player who, if you don't extend, now may be able to walk for free in a year after next season, or do you lose the flexibility?
Yeah, this is where I think it would be very, very poor mismanagement if we don't give Cam the extension, because you can't. The worst case scenario, right, is like you said, he signs that qualifying offer for a year and he's able to walk, because most teams are not going to give him an offer sheet. I think Cam is going to be kind of trapped in a situation where most teams are not going to offer him that offer sheet. They're going to wait. They're going to like, okay, sign the 5.8, and then you're going to wait that year, and then once he's an unrestricted free agent, that's when teams are going to start hitting him. That's when his phone is going to be blowing up, because people are going to want a young scoring guard. They see what he can do scoring wise. They're going to try to fit him in that situation. I remember we was talking a lot about the teams, and the Hornets could be a possible situation, Rockets, Wizards. But if Sean Marks lets that happen, that will be a very, very poor mismanagement. I think he should
No, that's
stick.
a, no, no, that's
Yeah,
no. That's a
yeah.
fireable offense.
Yes, fireable.
Seriously.
You cannot let an asset walk like Cam Thomas for free. You give him the bag. I think there is an extension projection. Shout out to Eric Slater, wrote a great article. It was about basically giving Cam a descending. Let me see if I have a descending contract. It started at 34 million the first year, then it goes to the second year 31, 28, 26. 4 years, 121.95 million. I think that's a decent contract for Cam. Some people might say it's overpaid, but we're in the new era of NBA. We just watched Jalen Green get 30 mil. We're watching high-end role players get 30 mil. Like that's the standard now, because the salary cap is going up and these guys are getting more money. So if we sign Cam after after he's a restricted, or like you said, when we can maneuver. First of all, we have a ton of cap space. We have plenty of money. It's not like we're begging. We're one of those teams that don't have money. We were talking last night. We got to hit that salary floor. We might as well pay Cam. Now, if you want to trade Cam, that's for another conversation in the future. At least you have him in your books. You're able to trade him and see down the line. But for right now, you got to give him that money and keep him on the team for right now as an asset. They did the same thing with DeAndre Ayton. When Ayton wanted to leave, other teams offered him an offer sheet. I think the Pacers did, and he was going to leave. The Pacers offered, and he was going to leave. And then the Suns were like, nope, we're going to match it, and we're going to trade you down the line. And they got value back for him, even though he wanted to leave. They still got value back, because that's how GMs do. You got to get value for your assets.
What does a bad season from CT look like as far as him in his next contract? He's playing in an offense that's not really one-on-one ISO based. He's going to be playing a lot off the ball. A little bit of a different look for the Nets offense. Very different. How much money could he lose if he does have a bad year? And a bad year, I'm going to make this up off the top of my head. I did not research this or whatever. Let's say he winds up getting 19 points a game, 40% from the field, 33% from three, 35% from three. I'll give him a little higher on the 3-point percentage.
Yeah.
But does that tank his value?
That's a great question. I think if he has a bad year, that will definitely hurt his value. I think teams will probably be less.
Tank it, though?
I don't know about tanking it, because he can still. People know he's a scorer. They know what his type of thing is. Like, people just think he's one dimensional. They just think like, oh, he just gets buckets. I don't think it tanks it. I think he's still I think teams will still want him, but they're not going to willing to offer him this 20 mil, 30 mil. They're going to try to lower that to the bottom, like lower, like 20, low 20, maybe 18. Like he's going to hurt his paycheck in the future. I think that's more of it. But his value, I still think he's 23 years. Was he 23? Yeah, he's 23 years old. He's a young guard. It's not like this is the end of his career. I think he still will have some type of value, even if he has a terrible season. But I don't think he's going to have one. I think Cam's going to have a good season. Yeah. Mhm.
What people don't realize is that you get paid for what they think you're going to produce,
Yes.
not what you just did. You're
Yeah.
getting paid for, okay, he's young.
Mhm.
He's already putting up these numbers. He's putting up crooked numbers. 36 points just game one.
Game
right?
one.
I think he has 8 40-point games. We've seen he could take over games. So what is he going to look like 2 years from now when he's getting closer like to 27? He's not in his prime right now. Not even close.
Not even close. Yeah, he's just and the thing is, I saw yesterday, like I saw some defensive possessions and Cam looked pretty good. Because he looked better on those defensive possessions. I saw him with his active hands. He was getting to the ball. There was something he had, I think, like 2 or 3 steals. That's scouts. I mean, NBAs are watching, GMs are watching. Like, okay, he might be more than a scorer. I can actually play him on defense, and he'll not be a liability. They're looking at things like that. His playmaking, a big thing is going to be his playmaking this year. So, because everybody's not going to be looking at their scoring, they're going to look at the other intangibles of his game. That's good. Like you said, his projection. So if I can get a guy that can give me 25, play some average defense, and give me 4 or 5 assists at great efficiency, the sky's the limit at 23 years old. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
We see the vets playing right now. I just said the numbers before. Just totally garbage game. Obviously, they have to be auditioned. At some point, we want to trade these guys, and yes, we want to tank. But what happens when these guys are making a lot of money, they're not performing, but you're losing with them, and the fan base gets frustrated? I know teams don't give a fuck about the fan base. They're gonna do what's best, what they think is best for the team. But how long do you hold off on these guys, these vets that you want to trade, taking minutes away from the young players and thinking about like maybe we want to see CT at point guard?
Yeah, I would love to see CT at point guard. I mean, I think what Jordy's plan is he wants CT to more efficient, be a more efficient scorer. Kind of like, you know how KD, right? KD is one of the best scorers of all time. Like, but you notice about KD, he scores within the game. KD's not really an erratic scorer. He's a very efficient scorer. He picks his shots, picks his spots, and he's very efficient. He'll have like 30 on 15 shots. You know, he's scoring within the game. I think Jordy wants Cam to kind of work towards that instead of being like a crazy ISO scorer taking 30 shots. He wants Cam to be more of an off ball, come through, you know, coming off screens, you know, coming off pin downs, scoring, picking your spots. Like, I think he wants him to kind of develop that part of his game instead of just being a volume heavy, because people around the league think Cam is a chucker. They think he's a chucker and he just shoots 30 shots and that's it. He's a scoring chucker. Like, I think Jordy wants him to be more of a guy that can score within the game, more like a KD, you know what I'm saying? And Cam at point guard, that's going to help his playmaking because that's another part of his game where he can, we saw Cam with as a primary ball handler a little bit in preseason, but not as much as we want because of Dennis Schroeder. So as far as like playmaking wise, he's got to have to take that playmaking leap some way. And with Sean Marks, the first important thing he has to do is get rid of DFS, because at the trade deadline, DFS could walk. You know, this is last year. DFS could walk. He could opt out and walk for free. You can't let that happen. So DFS has to go before that deadline. CJ, we already know how many times there's tons of teams calling CJ. I don't know what's going on, why we're holding on to him so tight, but he's got to go too eventually. And then I think Boyan, those guys got to go. I think the only vet we should have by the end of the year is probably Ben. Dennis, I'm not too like pushed out the door with him because he is going to be out of here. I think he's on a last year deal. I think he's on expiring anyway. So I'm not too like, oh, we got to get out of here. But like you said, if you see that you want more playmaking from CT, you got to tell Jordi, like, listen, I want CT more at point. Give CT at the end of the year, Dennis, sit him down or give him less minutes. And it's okay to say that because we're a losing team. Tell Dennis, sit him down, less minutes, be more of a mentor to CT at point guard. That's what you got to tell Jordi to do. So I think that's how you kind of work it out.
You really think that CJ has like value right now? Like I'm saying, do I think that we could flip him for a protected first rounder today? I do, but that contract is just really horrendous. Our guy Jay from BK, the OG, he calls him Scam Johnson.
Scam.
And that's hilarious. But man, that contract is so ridiculously bad.
Yeah.
I was telling him, I think we might have to actually give up a protected first rounder to get rid of him if you want someone to eat 2 years and the remainder of this year. I don't think this would do that. I think we'd rather just eat the contract, right? But is there really you really think there's value out there?
Yeah, I do. I think CJ's contract. I think CJ's is contract. I've seen worse contracts than that, but it's like I think what has to happen with CJ, like a team has to get desperate. Like one of these contending teams has to because it always happens every year. Like they go through a streak of bad losses, and they're
One
like, oh,
player away.
yeah.
That shooter's gonna get us over the top.
Exactly. So it's like a team that needs shooting. CJ still has value because he's still semi-young. He's 26, 27. He still is a career 40% three-point shooter. So it's like he still has a shooting wing, still has some value in this league. And I think that we could get a protected first, maybe protected second, some type of value, a young asset, some type of value, I think, but we might have to wait until, okay, let's say one of these contenders start losing 5 in a row and we're heading down to the trade deadline and they want to make a quick move. I think teams get desperate and like, you know what, we'll figure out this contract at the end of the year, but right now we need to win. So let's get CJ. I think that's kind of what Sean Marks is hoping for CJ.
Do you take on a longer contract that's also in the same range to get a better pick?
That's a good question. If I'm Sean, I would rather first thing I'd rather draft capital and I would rather short term.
Because you're getting a better pick, you're shedding a CJ and his value as a player, and you'll get the better pick because you're taking in a worse contract that's longer, right?
Yeah. If that happens, it's not too bad because we have so much cap space we can eat it. But I would hope that Sean flips that, or he could try to flip that because I don't want to keep a super bad contract. And Sean knows this. He's done this before with yeah.
Do you do the deal to get a better pick? Let's say I'm going to make this up in my head.
Yeah.
A 2026 pick number 15 coming in. We're sending out CJ, and we're getting another contract that is going to add on an extra year at $20 million.
That's tough.
So
that's tough. That's tough. That's tough because we're this new CBA where it's difficult to make trades. That's why I'm like, that's a tough question, bro. I'm not gonna lie, it's a tough question. Oh, 3 more years is a lot too, bro. 3 at 20.
We're gonna be contending by then.
How many?
Right?
Yeah, it depends who the player is, though. Is it a young guy? If it's a young guy that's actually good, like a young upcoming guy, I wouldn't be too mad.
He's not gonna be good. He's gonna be bad.
If it's a bad,
he's gonna be bad.
No. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could do it because I might take the L if it's a young upcoming guy that can help to rebuild. But if it's not, yeah, it's gonna be tough for that. Yeah. Or you could do like Sean could do. He could do a 3-team. He might have to call another team, be like, "Hey, I got this." Just try to fit somebody else and maybe flip that guy. So
that's fair.
Yeah,
I don't think I would do that.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get rid of that contract. I don't think I would take a second rounder for CJ right now, but I would take anything that would involve getting a first round pick coming in and not taking any more years in. I don't want to add anything more, and either salary cap height, like more money, or length of contract. I don't want to touch. I want us to have the flexibility. If we're gonna give money to somebody, I'd rather pay CT than give it to somebody else that's coming in from a trade like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think, yeah, I definitely think he should keep the cap space open. Like when I see these terrible contracts like Zach LaVine and all these, I was like, I'm not trying to keep the. I know people think we're going to be the dumping ground and we're going to be the salary dump, but like in this new CBA, it's different. Back when we were the salary dump team, it was easier to make trades and flip guys. Now it's not as easy to flip guys and trade guys, so it's like it's difficult being the dumping ground now.
I'm going to blindside you now. I'm going to throw you some rapid fire questions. All right.
Yeah.
Who's the Nets' second option on offense?
Oh, that's a second option right now. I guess if I wanted to, I guess I would have to say maybe Dennis. That's what I'll
Nice.
probably say. Yeah, Dennis. I want it to be Shake Milton, but he's probably not going to play. But but I guess right now in terms it'll be Dennis. I guess yeah.
Who leads the Nets in 3-point shooting?
Percentage
Percentage-wise, yeah.
Percentage-wise, I'll say CJ.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. How many points per game does Clax get?
Oof, this is tough. I'm gonna go with 13 points per game.
I think he's gonna get a little bit more. I think he's gonna get around 15.
15?
Like, same thing, basically, right? Same thing.
Yeah. I would love for 15.
Does he improve his free throw shooting?
Ooh. I think this year he'll probably go 60. I'm shooting for 65% from the foul line. I think that's going to be a thing. But that's
might be high.
That's pretty high. That's pretty high. I'm gonna say 65, but we'll see. We'll see. I think okay. Maybe I'll do 62. I'll do 62. 62%. Yeah. All right.
That's fair. Who is the leading scorer off the bench
this year? I think it will be Jalen. I'm going with Jalen Wilson.
How many minutes per game does he get at the end of the year? Averaging in now, he's probably not going to play as much, and he's probably going to get more minutes towards the end of the year after the trade deadline. So putting that all together, what do you think?
Oh, how many minutes for Jalen Wilson?
Yeah, per game. Yeah, average.
I would hope 15 to 20. I would hope 15 to. I would hope 20. Actually, I would hope 20.
I'm at 25.
25.
I think he's going to start at the end of the year.
25. Yeah, I hope it goes up. When these vets are gone, it should go up. It should go up. If these vets go, hopefully Sean gets these guys out of here. Yeah.
Does Jalen Wilson start after the trade deadline?
Ooh, this is a great take. All right, if DFS is gone, yes, I think he does. If DFS and CJ are still here, no. Yeah, so
I agree. With both.
Yeah.
What is Cam Thomas's points per game average?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with 27. I'm gonna go with 27 points per game this year. I know what was he last year? 22? 24? I think it was 22.
Something like that.
Yeah, 22. Yeah, actually, I'll go with. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 27. We just saw 36 for the game one, so I'm gonna go with 27. That's my hot take.
Last one. Over or under 18.5 wins?
Oh, for us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go under. Because I think I was gonna say I think our schedule they set us up with a whole bunch of contenders. These first 2 months is a bunch of contenders, so we should be losing a lot.
I'm gonna say over unless CT gets hurt. If CT gets hurt, this is gonna be this is gonna be bad.
Yeah.
All right. You know how I wrap up? I always ask people their favorite jersey. You already been here before. What's your favorite Nets game that you attended?
Oh, this is a good one. I would have to say it was a Kyrie game versus the Knicks. I went to the Clays and Kyrie hit I don't know if you remember this, but I might have vlogged this. But Kyrie hit a last second game win. It was like a dagger. And the Knicks came to Barclays. And this is when we were running the show, when we were destroying. You remember when the Knicks didn't win a game against us? but it was a nice like tween crossover step back, and I think it was on RJ Barrett, and it was just a clean dagger, and we were just like turned up in the stands because we were like, yeah, we beat the Knicks. So yeah, that was one of my favorite Nets games to go to. Mhm.
My favorite game was the game right before that one when Kyrie
Oh,
put up 50 points and they lost.
oh yeah,
To
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Minnesota.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's it.
Mhm,
I went to the first games in Brooklyn,
mhm.
both preseason and regular season. I went to the first playoff game. I've been to many playoff games.
Yeah,
It's never been as loud, at least for me. I did not go to any of the Buck series, so
yeah.
people that are gonna yell at me for that, I didn't go to that series. That game when Kyrie put up 50 and missed the game winner, I've never heard the Barclays Center explode or be as loud as that. So my favorite Nets game that I went to was a loss, but
Oh,
just the
the
energy
energy
that
was
was
fire, right? The energy was
yeah.
fire. I'm so upset. I wish I would have went to that KD Masterclass Game 5, man. I wish I would have went to that 50 point. I would love to be. I mean, I literally watched it from screen. I went live streaming. I was with all these guys, but I wish I was there in the stands when even though the toe on the line, I still wish I was there. Like, I wish I was there.
Is there any plugs you want to throw out?
Yeah, just again, appreciate you joining the team, man. And like I said, it's bigger than me. It's a family, it's a community, it's a Nets community now. Everything Nets Kingdom, check out netskingdom.net. We got articles on there. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. So check out all our platforms on there. YouTube, we get it popping on live stream, and we dropping videos too on there. So yeah, stay tuned for some great edits and articles and just breakdowns of, if you're a Nets fan, you would love it here. So appreciate you guys. And oh yeah, also Hoops World. We have NBA. We love the NBA too. So we have a Hoops World NBA channel on YouTube. So we got that too.
All right, guys. You can follow me at NetFans, on Twitter. You're watching on YouTube right now. If you enjoyed this, subscribe. Check out Next Kingdom. Same type of content. Great guys over there. You're going to see me over there a lot more now. Subscribe to them. And have a good day. Have a great night. And let's go Nets.
Yes,
We're
sir.
out.